All right, and with that, hello all. I am super excited to be here with you all. I'm going to stop screen sharing so you can see my face for just a moment. Oh, I did stop screen sharing. Okay. I always forget when I'm sharing Google Slides, it doesn't let me slide quite over. But hello, I am very glad that you're here. Thank you all for saying hello from where you are. I am coming to you from North Carolina tonight. And so thank you all for joining here. I'm going to go back to screen sharing, but I did start with that activity just to show you that I always have something for students to do and adults too, because my least favorite thing in the whole world is going to Zoom meetings and just staring awkwardly at whoever else is there. And if nothing's happening in the chat, we're all just kind of like looking at each other. And so if you feel uncomfortable as an adult in those situations, your students are definitely going to feel uncomfortable and they are going to be, so what I do is I just tend to log in like 2 or 3 minutes late because I know that I will miss all of the awkward. So I always have something for students to do, whether it's listening. I usually put up a timer. I don't use Zoom with my regular general music classes. My school uses something different that it's called Blackboard Collaborate, but it is not worth looking into. It's expensive and kind of outdated. We're switching soon, but one of the benefits is that it does have a timer. So even if you don't have a timer built into your platform, what I did, and I'm going to go back to this Google slide. Okay, so what I did, and I will, let me get out of presentation mode real quick because I'm going to show you behind the scenes of all of my stuff today. So what I did was I just inserted a timer video. So if you go to insert video and then you just search the amount, and I wanted something calm, so I put calm 15-minute timer, and that way students can come in and have something to do. You can have them answer a polling question, or gather their materials, or have a dog barking because this is work from home life, and thank you, Favorite Human Wesley, for taking care of that. But that way your students are encouraged to come to class on time or early so that they're not feeling like they're, just awkwardly staring at their classmates. Okay, so now who am I? I'm pretty sure I recognize a lot of your names just from various places on the internet. But my name is Michelle Rose, and I am a full-time online music teacher. I am going into we have started my 4th year officially. So yes, I was teaching music online before COVID-19 hit. I mostly teach middle school and high school general music classes. I also direct the extracurricular virtual band / orchestra and choir. And if you have questions about that, come to my sessions later this week, because I always, as soon as I say that, I always get things in the chat. So that's why I have all different kinds of sessions this week. However, if you're wondering, wait a second, why are you qualified to tell me what to do? You seem like you're secondary only, and that is not true. Even though I don't teach regularly at the elementary level, I do have the opportunity to guest teach, and I did teach K2 music early on in my music teaching career. And then I also have officially released Teaching Music Online, a comprehensive guide for K-12 music educators. And so this is part of the celebration of this launch. It is a 2-week late celebration because, to be honest, it was back to school time for me. And just like everyone else, I was feeling a little bit of the hectic back to school, even though this was my 4th year. This year is different all around for everyone. If you do want to connect with me, Instagram is where you can find me most often. So I'm at _musical_rose. I love when people tag me in things. So feel free if you, love an idea, take a picture, tag me. I'd love to see. Or you can email me, although I will say I am very, very, very behind on my emails, but I do try to respond to all of them. So michelle@themusicalrose.com. All right, now that we have all the formalities out of the way, let's talk about what we're gonna do. Oh, and I always forget to turn on the CC. So one thing I do really love about Google Slides is that when you're in presentation mode, if you click on CC, this puts the captions on, and that makes it just a little bit more accessible for your students. So my school is not a Google school, but I still, do some things in slides just for this reason, because the translation of or captioning of whatever I'm saying I find to be pretty accurate. Okay, so today's session, we're going to talk a little bit about the general rules of engagement in live synchronous class. So I'm going to be focusing specifically on live synchronous class because there is a lot out there kind of on asynchronous things, whether it's like videos or setting up your LMS or whatever. But I want to talk about live synchronous class because that's where I find teachers kind of don't always know what to do. So we're going to talk about rules of engagement, and then we're going to do two activities, We Are Dancing and Let's Make a Fruit Salad. So you have two activities that you can take with you to do with your students, if you so choose. And so I will give you the slide deck along with the recording after this is all done, okay? So let's talk a little bit about engaging online. So first of all, let's talk about frequency of engagement. And so when you have a synchronous class, it's not quite the same as brick and mortar. So when you are in brick and mortar, one of my favorites is teaching kindergartners, because they would be really excited and you'd be, what is today's day? What is today? Monday. It's Monday. And they would all, chorus back or whatever. You don't really have that in the same way, right? And if everyone tries to say something back to you with everyone's mics on, then it's really chaotic and you're hearing background noise and it's disruptive. So let's talk about then what we can do instead. So we want to make sure that we're engaging our students. This is kind of my general rule of thumb. So at least every 1 to 2 slides, and when we're doing the activities, you will see how I do that. I like to use Nearpod. If you have taken a session with me before, I talk about Nearpod all the time, but today I'm actually not going to talk about Nearpod. So if you want to learn more about Nearpod, definitely check out some of my other things that I've done, and I can link to that, I guess, when I send the recap email. But today I'm going to focus on specifically what can you do in your just straight up virtual classroom. So we're in Zoom. Features may not be the same across all platforms, but for the most part, you should be able to do most of the things and apply it to whatever your school is using. So every 1 to 2 slides, make sure students are engaging in some way. After videos, so this is an important thing. Kids watch videos all the time, right? On YouTube, I feel like it's just an endless stream, and my kids are always sending me videos that they're finding, but they need to know that videos for fun are different from videos for school. And so you want to go into the video giving them something to think about, and then after the video asking a follow-up question, so they're not just kind of mindlessly zoning out. Because I don't know about you, but sometimes I'll just like put YouTube on, like I have a Roku, and suddenly like I'm on a video that I have no idea how I got to. I was not paying attention to it, but it's just kind of background noise. I'll look up and pay attention for a little while and then go back to what I'm doing. So make sure students have something to engage with, so that way they know it's different from just I'm watching for fun video. And then if for some reason you don't have either of these things, maybe you're mostly staying on one slide for whatever reason, you want to think every 5 minutes, again, students doing something other than just staring at the screen, because that is, what will cause them to kind of disengage, especially if their cameras are turned off. I do not make my students turn their cameras on. I know this is like a thing that's floating around the internet a lot, but just because your camera is on does not mean you're paying attention. I can guarantee that one of you is at least one of you, it has this pulled up, but is looking very engaged and also checking their email or something like that. And that's okay if that's you. I do it too. But that's the thing, is that I have perfected looking engaged. Like I can, go over here and just and I can kind of look the right way and check my email and do grades in a meeting if I'm required to turn on the camera. So this notion that like the video has to be on is just kind of false. That doesn't mean that, I don't encourage my students, but it's always for a pedagogical reason. So I don't have my students keep their videos on For most of my general music classes, I have my students turn their cameras on in choir and band because pedagogically I can see their breathing and their posture and that kind of thing. So just be mindful of that. Don't take off points if students' cameras aren't on because there are a million reasons why that might be. Okay, I'm going to get off my soapbox now and we are going to get to the good stuff, I promise. So, how do I engage students? Before we dive in, real quick, you want to think about these three things when you're thinking about how. So first of all, wait time. Wait time is painful even in brick and mortar situations, right? So wait time is the worst. Let's sit in silence for 5 seconds right now. Okay, so that was about 5 seconds. I don't know about you, but it feels even more awkward over Zoom because I don't see human beings really in front of me staring back at me. I just feel like I'm staring at my wall. So make sure you are giving enough wait time. How do you give enough wait time? I use timers all the time. Timers help me with pacing to know, approximately how long I should give. Timers help me to make sure that I am giving students enough wait time. So if you want students to engage, they need to have the right amount of time to think, because if you only give them 5 seconds for something that requires, a little bit more time, they might just get frustrated. At the same time, if you are just kind of waiting and it feels like dead air and they don't know when you're going to move on, again, they might disengage. Avoid logins if possible. So the less clicks, the better. And especially at the elementary level, but honestly, even at the middle and high school level, like if you can avoid websites that require login, you will get so much more participation. So using just the straight up virtual classroom that you're in, using Nearpod, using Kahoot and quizzes, like all these things that don't require logins will get you way, way, way more engagement. So try not to require logins at all if possible. For older kids, you can give them a standard whatever they're supposed to put their name in. So every time, if it requires a name, I just say first name, last initial. Because if you just say, okay, go ahead and log in or go ahead and open this, they're going to be tempted to put in a silly name. But if you give them, okay, when you open this, you will put in your first name and last initial. And you want to stick to first name and last initial or first initial and last name for FERPA reasons, especially if this is being recorded. So yeah, that will help you. And then mix it up. So we are going to do a couple of things in a moment where you will have different activities to do throughout. So that way students are not doing the same thing, every time they're asked to engage. So now we are going to do the We Are Dancing singing game. And so I want to preface this with the fact that I am amongst many, many excellent music educators, elementary music educators. I see so many people in here who I just love and adore. And I will say this, you all probably know how to teach this the best way. So I'm not going to be teaching you necessarily how to teach this in your style. You can adapt it. I'm just going to show you a way that you can take this and do it online, okay? So if I do something that is like sacrilege in your teaching philosophy, just ignore it, pretend you didn't hear it, and then adjust to whatever you need. Elementary peeps, you all, I love you all because when you all care, when they get to the middle and high school level, it makes my job easier. So I have the utmost respect. I think you all are superheroes for sure. And so, but you are all really intense about your teaching methods and into it, and I love it. But I also just don't come after me with a pitchfork, okay? That's all I'm asking. All right, I see some of you laughing. It was a joke. It was a joke. Okay, so so now we're gonna go into teacher mode. I will do some teaching and some adulting simultaneously. So here is an example of an engagement. So I'm going to sing the song, and I want you to think about this. What do you think this song, what do you think best represents what this song is about? Okay, so I will sing the song. So if you are not familiar with it, you will hear it right now. Okay, so I'm gonna do my best. Here we go. We are dancing in the forest and the wolf is far away. Who knows what will happen to us if he finds us at our play? Okay, it's been a little while since I sang that song, and now I'm in front of people doing it and not just, first graders, but here we are. So, okay, now what you will do if you are in Zoom, what I like to do is set up a poll, but I don't like to set it up with, you know, every single answer because I like to reuse them. So I will have 1, 2, 3, 4. So I don't have to type out answers every single time. So if you look here, can you all see the polls that I just put on here? I think I'm sharing my desktop. No, you can't. Okay, so I am screen recording because Zoom constantly changes like what people can and can't see. So it's changed dramatically in the past year every time I feel like. So you can't see this, but I have a thing pulled up where it says just choose your answer 1, 2, 3, 4. And so when you click on launch poll, it will open up 1, 2, 3, 4 for you. So you can tell students, okay, go ahead and choose the number that you think. So that way it's not complicated and they don't have to read the words pig or horse or wolf. And then you can say, okay, I'm going to give you 30 seconds. Go ahead and put your answer up using your polling tools. Whoops. And don't click on the side. And even if you're not sure, take your best guess. So does everyone see their poll come up? Okay, great. So go ahead and if you know, go ahead and put a vote in. So yes, I am actually asking you to partake. Okay, so then students have 30 seconds to go ahead and do that. And then I like this because it's not really a super harsh timer. And then you can end the poll and publish out the results. Uh-oh. Wait, okay. Did you all see the poll? Because it's not showing through on my end. And you voted. And it's not, oh, dang it. Okay, so on my end it's showing, so this is like real time, So on my end it shows that 0 people did this. And like I said, this is just, this is real life virtual teaching where, your students are nodding like, yes, we can see it, we're doing it. And you're like, wait a second. So, okay, so assuming that did work, and it has worked every other time that I've done it, again, is you're learning in real time. Okay, and you can see the results. All right. Great, well, perfect. So I'm assuming you all picked 4. It is about a wolf. Okay, so this is, again, a way to engage students without having them raise their hand, without having to unmute them, without having, students maybe who are shy, or who maybe don't want to turn on the mic, or who don't want to turn on their camera. Like, this is the way you will get all of your students involved. Okay, so then we will say, all right, go ahead and take out your imaginary pencil. Everyone take out your imaginary pencil. And so I say pencil because we don't want kids like touching their screens necessarily, right? But if there's a pencil, that puts enough length in between, the kid and the screen to be able to kind of tap along. So go ahead and tap the heartbeats as I sing so we can keep the steady beat. Here we go. 1, 2, ready, tap with me. We are dancing in the forest and the wolf is far away. Who knows what will happen to us if it finds us at our play? Okay, great. So that is, again, a way that you can get kids to still kind of follow along with this steady beat, not touching their screens, right? So using that imaginary pencil. Okay, is this poll tool only for Zoom? Do you know if it is in WebEx or Google Meets? So I don't know because I know that there are a bunch of different, I think like if these features aren't here, they're coming very soon to most of these platforms. But if you do not have a poll in your, oh, thank you, Lauren. WebEx says there's a poll in there. If you don't have this polling option, you can use Nearpod. Like I said, after today, I will send you a video too on how I use Nearpod in elementary music in a different way. But that is also another way that you can get students polling if they don't have it through the virtual classroom. Okay, so then you can ask students, different questions about this, whatever you usually do to teach. You will get these slides. So if you would like to use this, you can. If you don't want to use it, that's fine too. Okay, and then maybe you talk about stick notation. Hooray, stick notation. Okay, so I was thinking, what can we do with this? And maybe we're introducing law for the first time. And so I want you to look and listen. So I'm going to move to the next slide. I want you to look at the next slide and also listen to me. And here's what I want you to be thinking. Which word or words have the highest pitches? Which word or words have the highest pitches? All right. So I'm going to sing this for you. And so I want you to look and listen. We are dancing in the forest. Okay, listen one more time. We are dancing in the forest. Okay, even if you didn't hear what was highest, maybe you can see which one's highest. All right, so I'm going to put your polling tools up again. And if you think it's we are, you're going to put 1, dancing 2. Ooh. Don't be clicking. I always want to click slides because this other program I use does not move on to the next slide, but here we are. Okay, 3, in the, and 4, forest. So I'm going to relaunch your poll. And I will give you 30 seconds to go ahead and put your answer up. And so I always put a timer, even if I think it's not going to take kids too long. For whatever reason, I always have about 3 kids that will just wait until the timer is 0. And if you don't put a timer at all, they just won't answer. They just need that like extra push for whatever reason to be able to answer it. And so with this, depending on your students, maybe you would give a minute or whatever, but since you are music educating adults, I'm just doing 30 seconds. All right, and so again, I cannot see if you have answered or not. To me, it shows 0 people, but I am going to share out the results again, and I'm assuming you can see them and all of that thing. And so then you can talk about it with students, and if they got dancing, then maybe that's an indication that you will go on. If they didn't get dancing, maybe that's an indication that you will spend some more time on this. And so this is a quick way not only to keep students engaged, but also to assess. So if your administration is asking you, well, how are you assessing in live class? You can always, take a quick screenshot of polls. I've done that where it shows 75% of kids answered this correctly. Can I see results via name? So in Zoom, I cannot. So if you need to specifically be able to see, a student's results, again, I recommend using Nearpod. But if you are just kind of, doing this generally, I would say, using Nearpod every class is not something that I do. I use it pretty frequently, but sometimes I need to, I don't have the time to put everything together in Nearpod. So to set up the poll in Zoom, I will go over that a little bit later to show you exactly where. Okay, so then social lasso, lala, social mimi, we'll go over that. I'm not going to go too much into this, but you'll have these slides if you want to use it with your students, okay? So now we're going to play this game. All right, so here is how you can play this game on Zoom. One person is going to be the wolf, and so the wolf will turn around. And so yes, you are going to actually physically turn around if you are the wolf. Everybody else is going to sing the song together and dance. So even if, oh, and the poll is still up on your screen. Whoops, there we go. Should be gone now. Even if you are muted, I still want you to sing and dance along with me, okay? When we get to the word play, the wolf is going to turn back around and everyone is going to freeze where they are. anyone who is caught moving is out, and then a new wolf will be chosen from anyone who's still frozen. So if you get out, I want you to keep the beat, and you can choose how to keep the beat, whether you want to keep the beat on your shoulders, maybe you want to keep it on your lap, maybe you want to keep it on your spider fingers. But you get to choose how you want to keep the beat. All right? So we are going to assume that you have taught this song. And so I'm not going to go through too much of actually teaching it, but let's play around. So I'm going to stop sharing, and then I'm going to come back here. And so you'll want to view people in gallery mode. And so you should be able to view, I think it's up to like 59 or 49 people at one time. I can usually view all of my students. Do I have anyone who would like to be our wolf? Maybe. This is the wait time. You're all smiling at me. You're all smiling at me. Okay, great. Alyssa. All right, Alyssa, you're going to be our wolf. And so, Alyssa, go ahead and physically turn around. And now, everybody else, I'm going to invite you to turn your cameras on. Although, if you're not going to turn your camera on, that's okay. I'm going to invite you to stand up very carefully, especially if you're plugged in. Please don't hurt yourself. And then we are going to dance a little bit. And I always tell my students, it's okay if you feel a little silly, because we're all going to feel a little silly together right now. That's how we have fun, okay? So, Alyssa, so everyone is going to stay muted. I will sing, but you're going to still sing along with me. Alyssa's going to stay turned around until we get to the word play, and then everyone's going to freeze. And if she sees anybody moving, she will call them out. And so do the best you can, Alyssa, all right? Here we go. Let's try it. And then we're dancing too, okay? So dance with me, sing with me. Here we go. 1, 2, ready and sing. We are dancing in the forest and the wolf is far away. Who knows what will happen to us if it finds us at our play?
Right, I don't know if it's Abby or Sarah.
All right, and so then I would say, okay, unfreeze, Abby and Sarah, I'm gonna have you sit down, but go ahead and keep the beat. Go ahead and keep the beat, either you get to choose, okay? All right, let's play one more time. And so you can have a student sing too. So it depends on your students and also how comfortable they are getting on the mic. So maybe the first time you play a singing game like this, you sing the whole time. And then the second time you ask for a student volunteer. So do I have a student volunteer? I'm not going to make anyone, but does anyone feel brave? Want to try singing on their own, leading? I could call on so many of you right now, but I'm not going to. Okay, so I will lead it again. And so here's the thing, is that, you know, this is, and so in a moment, we're gonna play another game and it has a random picker, but I'm never gonna make students do something, because like the minute you make students do something that they hate, they're gonna stop logging into your class. And so this is already a lot for so many of them. So the last thing you wanna do is put them in a situation where they're being forced to do something, right? We wanna make sure students are becoming lifelong music learners. And the last thing that we want is for them to say, I really liked music class until 2020/2021 when my music teacher made me sing and my siblings made fun of me for the rest of my life and I messed it up and I hated music. Like, we don't want to be there. And so you will gradually see more students open up, but it's okay if some of your students don't get there. That's why it's important to allow engagement in many different ways. So like I said, all right, so we will do this again, but can I have a volunteer at least for someone to be the wolf? All you have to do is turn around and then turn back around. Okay, Casey, to the rescue. Okay, Casey, turn around. Casey was my college mentor. So excited she's here. Okay, here we go. All right, everybody, we're going to sing this again. Make sure you're singing with me and dancing, however you want. Abby and Sarah, you're going to keep the beat. All right, here we go. Keep the beat on your body. Here we go. 1, 2, ready and sing. We are dancing in the forest and the wolf is far away. Who knows what will happen to us if he catches us at our play? Messed up the words. Did you see anyone moving, Casey?
I did. I have to flip through my screen here. Someone's gonna break. Y'all are good. This wolf is going without dinner tonight.
Okay, and then you can say unfreeze. And like, honestly, it's a lot easier when you're not playing with adults and you're playing with really excited third graders who are like, you know, so, but anyway, did you have at least a little bit of fun? Yeah? A little bit? Okay. Okay, you can turn your camera back off if you would like to. I'm gonna screen share again. And so you can see that, like, I invited students to turn them on, and then I told them they have the option to turn them off. I do the same thing with my kids because, again, Zoom fatigue is real. And there's a difference between you teaching and then you learning, because when I have my camera on Zoom and I am sitting in a meeting or sitting in a PD and I'm required to keep it on, I just feel like everybody's watching me, even though everybody is actually watching themselves, right? So like I constantly am just like looking, like, do I really look like that? What's my hair looking like? Like I can't stop looking at myself, you know? So that's why I tell my kids to turn their cameras off too, because then that's not a distraction. So cameras are not the be all end all of engagement. All right. So, all right, do I have students sing out loud or muted? I mostly have them stay muted. If you want to have a student leader, again, if students warm up to that. The first time they're probably going to feel like you did though, and that's totally fine. But eventually there's gonna be one kid that's like, I wanna do that. And so that is your kid, that is your in to get more kids participating. Okay, now let us go on to our second activity. So let me screen share again. All right, so this is something that I completely made up today, well, yesterday. So I don't know if you have ever seen the meme or story that kind of circulates around social media every once in a while where it's, hold on, I saved it on my phone because okay, so this teacher was being observed through walkthroughs and she said, well, today I was doing an activity with my first graders called musical groceries. Basically, they make up a fake shopping list and then together we figure out what the rhythm is of the words on the list. To do that, a small group of students plays the beat on the conga drum while the rest of the students move around the room while chanting the word. It sounds weird, but it's a great way for kids to figure out the relationship between syllables and rhythm. We all know that as music teachers. Then they quickly got bored of walking the rhythm, so I let them come up with their own ways of moving around the room, like skipping, hopping. One student suggested they hop around the room like frogs, way down low to the ground. Okay, fine. Or it was fine until my vice principal walked in to do my observation, only to find 27-year-olds hopping around the room like a horde of little hobgoblins, rhythmically chanting, bread, 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 while 5 other kids played ominous beats in a drum circle. So every time I see that, I just crack up because I feel like that is like, you know, that's when we get observed, right? And so today was inspired by that. So it's called Let's Make a Fruit Salad. Okay. Before we make a fruit salad, and so here's another way to engage your students. These icons, by the way, are from Flat Icon, FLATICON, and I'll put that in the chat, flaticon.com. And so they are free to download as long as you attribute, but I use these icons all the time. It just makes things a little bit easier. Okay, so I like fruit salad. 1, strongly agree. 2, agree. 3, disagree. 4, strongly disagree. So I want you to hold up your answer on your hand if you have your camera on, or put a number in the chat if you have your camera off. So again, giving students different ways to participate. I like fruit salad. Okay, everyone, make sure your number is up. Okay, and you can put your numbers down in 3, 2, 1. Thank you all for participating in the chat as well. So again, giving kids different ways to participate besides having their cameras on. Okay, so that can be your hook. And let's make a fruit salad. So I don't have a conga at home. Some of you might if you have access to your classrooms, but I do not. So what I did was I actually made so Google Chrome Music Lab has the option for a conga. And so I just put it in to be on every beat. And so this is how I have my steady beat conga. Okay, now I want you to repeat after me. Here we go. And I'll kind of do, I'll whisper your part, but you need to say it out loud. You're gonna say it in a speaking voice when I say it in a whisper voice. Okay, here we go. Repeat after me. 1, 2, here we go. Let's make a fruit salad. Let's make a fruit salad filled with yummy fruit. Filled with yummy fruit. Let's make a fruit salad. Let's make a fruit salad. What will you choose? What will you choose? Okay, so however you want to teach that, I know you all have an individual way where you would teach chanting. Stop the chanting or the drum. But this is kind of just a quick way if you're used to having some sort of conga and you don't want to use a metronome. I feel like the metronome sounds are always like really piercing. So this is kind of my quick hack. And that way you can adjust the tempo too, which I really like down here. And then you can do offbeats too, if you so choose, it's up to you. But you don't have to make super complicated fancy things. Like don't make your life too complicated. Did I click share computer sound or no? Yes. So I am sharing my computer sound. It should be coming through, hopefully. But yes, I find that sharing your computer sound kind of helps it to come through clearly if you have that option. Okay, great. So now I'm going to go back to this. All right, same thing. Go ahead and take out your, and so imaginary pencil. And what I'm going to do is actually, I have a second monitor here. And so my second monitor really, it does save me. So I can play this sound on my second monitor and be, nope, I don't want to share. I want to present. Here we go. So take out your imaginary pencil. Take out your imaginary pencil and go ahead and you are going to do the same thing. You're going to repeat after me, but this time when it's my turn and also when it's your turn. You'll just repeat each line. Here we go. 1, 2, ready, go. Let's make a fruit salad. Filled with yummy fruit. Filled with yummy fruit. Let's make a fruit salad. What will you choose? What will you choose? Okay, so again, how to get students to go ahead and do this. Okay, here we go. Here is the engagement piece. So you have noticed that I didn't go too long without asking students to do something. And it's something other than, you know, sit down or stand up or give me a thumbs up or something like that. They're having to actually, you know, engage in some way on the computer. So which two lines are the same? So I want you to look at this. And I would have them do it one more time, but for the sake of time, we're not going to do that. And so I would say, do you think it's line 1 and 2, 1 and 3, 1 and 4, like 2 and 3, 2 and 4? What combination? So what two lines? I want you to find the two lines that are the same. Okay. so, and then I would give them, because younger kids need a little bit more time to kind of look and observe. And so I'd probably give a minute here. Since you are music teachers, I'm not going to do the whole minute, but that way, again, without the timer, I would probably just move on really quickly because I feel kind of awkward. But with this, I just turn off my microphone and give them wait time. Okay, and so it's important to shut off your mic when you are giving that wait time. Do not talk all the way through the timer because that will also be distracting because I want to just fill up the room, the virtual room, with sound because again, I'm just here and it's quiet now that my dog's not barking. So I'm just here by myself. I want to keep talking. I always have to remind myself when the timer starts, I mute myself. Then they have the timer. Okay, so here's an iconic version if you so choose. And then, okay, ooh, oh, here, I was like, where did this slide go? Okay, so this is, it skipped over the slide. So which two lines are the same? So what you're going to do is either hold up in one answer on one hand, the other answer on the other hand, show me, or tell me in the chat. And so go ahead and hold up your numbers on your hands or tell me in the chat. Great. Okay, go ahead and put your hands down. Thank you for participating in the chat as well. Here we go. And then you can see here, I also color coded it. Same, different. All right, wonderful stick notation. Okay, and so then we are going to talk a little bit about fruit and rhythm. Here's another engagement activity. So students are constantly engaging in not just singing on mute, they're also doing things. That is the name of this game. So I'm going to start a poll again. Which fruit has the rhythm ta or coordinate or whatever you like to call it in your chosen philosophy? I'm going to relaunch the poll. And I will give you, and so this I would probably give students a minute because it's not just their opinion. They kind of have to think about it. And so I will say, and before this starts, I would say 1 apple, 2 mango, 3 pear, 4 watermelon. Even if you're not sure, take your best guess. This is where you turn off your microphone and let them think. Okay, and so we are music teachers. So again, I can't see your answers. This does not usually happen. I think what I did is that I tested coming in here on my phone and that somehow messed with it is what I'm gonna go with. So try not to do that and learn from my mistakes, but as long as you all can see it, that's fine. So I'll end poll and share out the results. Okay, and so make sure you also specify too whether you want students to answer in chat or through the poll, especially if you're switching back and forth. My students are kind of used to me switching back and forth constantly, but in the beginning you'll have to say, okay, this is for the poll, answer in your polling tools, this is for chat, answer in chat, etc., etc. Okay, so I'm assuming I shared the answers and you all said 3 because you are such smarties. And then you can go into talking about different rhythms and different fruits and why pear is 1 syllable and what the rest of them are and blah, 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 blah. Use your brilliant musical brains to do whatever you usually do in class. So now we're going to do the activity and we're going to try it. Like I said, this is something that I just randomly made up because I don't know, I like to be creative with online teaching. It is one of my favorite things to do. So I thought this would be fun to do, especially after seeing that yesterday, the bread and the frogs. Okay, so here we go. Let's make some fruit salad. So here is the name of the game. One person is going to be chosen using the wheel. And so, I put some of your names on the wheel, though if it lands on your name and you don't want to participate in this, you can decline. But anyone who is here kind of early-ish, I snagged your name to be on this wheel. And I'll show you what I mean in a moment. And then you are going to roll 2 dice. So the blue die is going to be your fruit rhythm, and the pink die is how we're going to keep the beat. And then you also have the option to have students lead if your students are comfortable or more advanced, or depending on what grade level you do this with. Okay, So here, I'm going to show you the behind the scenes thing first, and then we will do it together. Okay. So here is Wheel of Names. This is one of my favorites. You can do a lot. It has an ad here, but you can click X before class starts and then it stops showing, which a lot of these free websites like this often just have a ton of advertisements. And so when you click, then and then if you go into customize, you can change the amount of time. I recommend about 5 because otherwise, it gets to be a lot. And then I highly recommend putting this pop-up display. I'm just going to put fruit salad. You can have it auto remove the person if you want. I like to, and you can also turn off the applause. I like to leave it on. Kids, like that kind of thing. You can change the colors. You can do a custom image if you want. But then once you have that little thing enabled where it will pop up, again, this is what it will look like, and it will land on someone. The nice thing is then you can click on remove, so that way you don't have to keep track of who has had a chance to go, because I know that elementary schoolers are really intense about making sure that they have a turn. Like my high schoolers, I teach first period music appreciation, they don't care. They're like half asleep. They're like, great, if I get to go, awesome, if not. But second graders are gonna be like, Mrs. Rose, I did not get a chance to go and Jordan went twice. So in order to prevent that from happening, you can click on remove. All right, and so you can set this up in advance and you can save them, which is great, all of that thing. Now here, I just took your Zoom name. So. Okay, so then the other thing that I have are these classroom dice. And so this is another, and I am going to give you the links to these, don't worry. But this is another great thing where you can say, all right, everybody, we're gonna roll some dice. Here we go. Everybody get out their dice. And when I say 1, 2, 3, roll, the dice are gonna roll. Here we go. Ready? 1, 2, 3, roll. Oh, sorry. That was anticlimactic. You got to be clicking in the right spot. Sorry, okay, let's try that one more time. And you're going to practice this before you do it with your students so it's not anticlimactic, but that first group of students you see in the day, they're always your guinea pigs. Okay, here we go, try one more time. 1, 2, 3, roll. Okay, great. So now that we have all of these background things, you would tell your students, okay, so the blue rhythm is going to be your fruit. So I chose some fruits in advance. I don't know how you want to set this up, but you can either, have the pictures, have the words too, if you want to practice them with your students. But essentially, whatever they roll with the blue die, so what was it this time? A 2. So you would say, okay, student Ms. Fernandez, you get to pick which fruit you are going to put in the fruit salad. And so you can ask the student to do that. And then, okay, you would say, all right, and then there's the pink dice is 4. So we are going to keep the beat by hopping from side to side as we say the chant. And so I will I'm going to show you how this all goes together in just a moment. I know we are almost through on time. So here we go. I'm going to give you an example. So we're going to pretend that my name was chosen, Mrs. Rose, Michelle. Okay, and so I would say, all right, okay, self, get ready to roll your dice. So say, all right, self, go ahead and roll your dice in 3, 2, 1, roll the dice. Okay, so 6 for blue. So it would be my choice. Okay, I'm going to put dragon fruit into the fruit salad. All right, and then we are all going to move to the beat by tapping our shoulders, Can everyone tap their shoulders for me? Okay, great. All right, so and then I would ask students to go ahead and stand up safely and carefully. So go ahead and stand up safely and carefully, and I'm going to ask you to invite you to turn your cameras on if you would like. Okay, and so where is this fruit going to go? It's going to go at the end. So what will you choose? And then we'll say it 4 times. So dragon fruit, dragon fruit, dragon fruit, dragon fruit. Okay, and then you'll repeat after me, that kind of thing. All right, so let's see, where did my words go? Okay, so we are tapping our shoulders and we have dragon fruit at the end. Don't worry if you didn't quite catch that all because you're still going to repeat after me. So you're still going to repeat after me. Okay, and so if you want to see your kids, you can stop sharing because they'll be repeating after you. So here we go. We're going to keep the beat by tapping our shoulders. Repeat after me. Let me turn on my kunga. Here we go. 1, 2, repeat after me. Let's make a fruit salad filled with yummy fruit. Let's make a fruit salad. What will you choose? Dragon fruit, dragon fruit, dragon fruit, dragon fruit. Okay, great. So, all right, we're going to try it with one of you all now. Okay, here we go. So I'm going to, let's try it. And so here we go. I'm going to share my screen. If I choose you though, and you really don't want to, please just send me a chat. I am not going to make you do this, just like I would not make my students do it. Okay, here's the wheel of names. This makes it a little easier than asking for volunteers, right? Because, you know. All right, here we go. All right, Ellen, would you be interested in volunteering? Either let me know in the chat or out loud using your mic.
I can volunteer.
Okay, great. Ellen, you are going to have a chance to roll the dice. So here we go. Get your lucky dice ready. Here we go. In 3, 2, 1, roll your dice. Okay, so first of all, you get to pick a fruit from number 2. So that's an 8th note. What 8th note fruit would you like to put in the fruit salad?
I'll put in the cherries.
All right, cherries. Awesome. And then we had pink, 4. So let's see. 4 is hopping. Okay, so we're going to hop from side to side. Make sure you hop in a safe way. Okay, so now at this point, you can either have the student lead or you can lead yourself, again, depending on how comfortable your students are. Ellen, would you like to lead us or do you want me to do it? I don't care either way.
I can do it. That's okay.
Okay. All right, here we go. I'll start the conga, and I'm going to mute myself. Go ahead, and we're going to start hopping. Here we go. Go ahead and lead us, Ellen.
Let's make a fruit salad filled with yummy fruit. Let's make a fruit salad. What will you choose? Cherry, 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 cherry.
All right, virtual round of applause for Ellen. Thank you, Ellen, for
No
being
problem.
playing along. But thank you. All right. So now that we're all out of breath and getting our cardio for the day, I have just a couple minutes left. So that is Let's Make a Fruit Salad. I figured, yes, thank you, Ellen, you are a rock star. So I just thought it would be fun for kids to, you know, be able to roll the die and, you know, what was the other one? Roll the die and pick the fruit. So getting kids involved. Well, the students hear the lag. Yeah, and honestly, if I wasn't even thinking too much about that, how much the lag is. So maybe when a student does it, you know, they don't have the conga or something like that. I mean, you just kind of have to play around with it. Like I said, I have not done, teaching online is all about experimenting and trying, and especially that first period class that always is the guinea pig. But I would say for that, maybe we just don't have conga when students are sharing. And that's okay too, because then students can practice, study, beat while they're saying it. All right, so you will get all of these slides. And then I want to just say one more thing, and I have a bonus for you as well for a giveaway. So if you want more tips like this, I have released, so this is in celebration of my book releasing 2 weeks ago because it was during back to school time, but I have released my book, Teaching Music Online, a comprehensive guide for K-12 music educators. And so there are lots of tips and tricks and templates and demonstrations. There's stuff for middle school and high school, general music, performance ensembles, a little bit of music theory. And so you can order it through F-Flat Books. And so that's through, if you go to bit.ly/teaching music online, then it will bring you right to the link. Also, don't forget to enter the Teaching Music Online Essentials giveaway. So I am giving away a bunch of my favorite things. So on my desk right now, I have the standing desk that is being given away. It is my favorite. I have a second monitor. It's not that one, but that one should be great anyway. Headphones. I have blue light blocking glasses. You can also win a gift card to F-Flat Books, a copy of my book, 1-year premium subscription to Kahoot, Gimkit, or quizzes. All of these things, again, in celebration of my book coming out, but also to help you out. And so if you enter at bit.ly/online music giveaway, and usually I have these links pulled up in a Word document if I'm teaching kiddos, so that way I'm not typing it in while I am teaching. Online music giveaway. And you enter the code engaging for your bonus. So there's like one little section where if you attend a PD, you get 8 bonus entries. And so you can get 8 bonus entries for each day that you attend. So please make sure you write down this code engaging. This is also kind of something that I do with my students where I give them a secret word at some point in class, and then they have to write it down and enter it in the exit ticket. And so this is probably not as applicable to younger students, but if you're older students, if you need to show data or be assessing them more or ensuring they're paying attention, you can also give them a secret word at some point that they have to write down and enter, and that's how they get their bonus entries, aka their grades. So, or part of their participation grade. So, again, a way not to do that with requiring video. Okay, so I will take questions we're at an hour, so I'll take questions for about 5 minutes. But if you want to ask something specific about your teaching situation, or it doesn't get answered today, or something strikes you, at midnight tonight when things generally strike me, like that fruit salad song last night, then you can come to open office hours / ask me anything on Friday if you'd like. Okay, so like I said, I will open up for questions. If not, make sure you enter the giveaway. Connect with me on Instagram at _musical_rose. And I will answer questions, otherwise you're free to go. Can we buy a hard copy of your book? Hard copy is coming, probably not this week though. I have to work on that. So right now it's just in digital form. Sorry, I am a physical book person too. I really tried the past couple of months to rent books from my or borrow books from my library through the ebook, and it's just difficult for me, so I totally get that. Can you show us how to make the conga? Yes. Oh, and I also need to show you how to do polls in Zoom. So if you want to hang out, feel free. If not, you are welcome to go. So, all right. If you just go to Chrome Music Lab, one of the options is Song Maker. And down here, so there are different options down here. If you click enough times, it gets to conga. and then you'll just put it on every other block because that will be the downbeat all the way to the end. I mean, honestly, you could also have kids do this and share their screens if you wanted to. It just depends on your school situation. But the nice thing is then you can adjust the tempo, which is the main thing. So you don't have to find, like, I don't know, a sample of a conga playing at a specific beat, you know, every time. So then if you press play, if you wanted to do with the off beats too, you could do something like that. But again, don't make this overly complicated. Do the easiest thing, do not do the fanciest thing. You need to have time to yourself or you will burn out. So yes, and Chrome Music Lab is great for so many things, but when I was thinking about like what could be replaced by a conga, this was the first thing that I could think of because I did not, like, I just feel like the metronome sound is just a little too harsh for, you know, this kind of thing. Okay. Oh, Zoom poll. So if you, and I'm doing this on my other screen because I don't want to show you anything. I'm trying to get into my account without showing you, you know, all of my personal information. Okay, so if you go into your settings, the first thing that you need to do is turn on polls. And so for whatever reason, Zoom makes things not very user-friendly in their settings. So you need to scroll down pretty far, keep scrolling, keep scrolling, keep scrolling, and then you will get to, okay, polling. And so this is in meeting basic. And so you need to turn polling on first in order for it to work. So it's kind of hidden and it's not automatically turned on. Then you have the option, so when you go into your classroom, your virtual classroom, you have the option, it will show up as polling. And then you can press edit and it will bring up this screen. And so you can add a poll that way. And so I like to not type a million questions or choose your answer, not check your answer. So that's why I just do one. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, or you can do A, B, C, D, whatever you want. You know, if you want students to have the option to do multiple answers, you can create 2 separate polls, one that has single choice, one that has multiple choice. But again, make your life easier. Make your life as easy as possible. Do not type in the answers every single time. Put them on the screen and screen share, and then tell students, okay, choose the answer that corresponds. So you can just redo this poll over and over. When you press save, it will show up here. And so you can see I created these 3 other polls, and this is the one that I just recently did for you all. Okay, other questions? Teaching asynchronously through Seesaw with pre-recorded lessons. Any suggestions or tips? Keep the videos under 10 minutes at most. I think it's like 6 or 7 minutes that the research says is the longest or the most ideal. And then use something like Play Pause It or Nearpod to also include those engagement or interactions. I prefer Play Pause It because students don't have to have a login in order to use it, which makes it more accessible for all students, but you know, especially for younger grades. So that's Play Pause It. Let me PLA. Okay. Let's see, what other questions? Do you ever have issues with students writing in the chat when they're not supposed to? Any advice for that? So if you have set up expectations and you're still seeing students, you know, use chat when they're not supposed to, what I would do is recommend just turning chat off completely and then having some other way for students to discuss or leave questions if needed. So for example, you know, I use, and I keep going back to Nearpod, but really the free version, they like upgraded all the features in the free version. So it's really a great tool. And I'll be using it more in the upper grades general music session if you want to see that more in action or through the recording. But then you can use the collaborate feature, which is like a group discussion board. You can use the open-ended feature, which is the answers will just come to you, but you can moderate the collaborate feature so you can see every single student's answers that come in before they go out. And then the open-ended feature, you can share out individual students to everybody's screen. So I would say, you know, I turn off so many tools when students aren't able to use them. I will add them back in slowly at times. It just kind of depends. The very first semester I taught virtually, though, I did not have group chat on at all. I only had private chat because I just couldn't manage it all because it is very distracting. So I would say turn it off and then find another way for students to interact in your path. But other websites are possible too. Okay. How do I share sound through the computer? So it's an option in Zoom if you go to, and like I said, I'm going to show you my screen recording of this when I send out the recording, but if you go to new share, at the very bottom left, it's very small, it says share computer sound. If you click that, then you can share your screen and computer sound. If you go into advanced, then you can share computer sound only and still see all your students. So for example, this is going to be share computer sound only. Okay, you can see my face, but then you will also be able to hear the conga. So those are kind of the two options for screen share and sound. Okay. Am I embedding the timer into the presentation? I just inserted the video into Google Slides. Whoops, it's not turning my video off. And I know it's late for you all on the East Coast, so I will wrap up within 5 minutes, I promise. Okay, so this is how I do it. So I go into just insert video, and then, you know, if I wanted a 1 minute timer, usually the timers, I always preview them, but the timers tend to not have ads because that would kind of defeat the purpose of the timer. So this 1 minute timer, just press select, and then I'll usually make it a little bit smaller and put it in the corner. But then when I press present, it's right up here. All I have to do is press play. And I prefer the silent timers when students are having to do work in class. Like if you want to play a music timer before class or, you know, during a break, that's fine. But I think it's really important to use a silent timer with a sound at the end when students are, you know, when you're requiring students to think, because it can be very distracting when it has music in the timer. Okay, let's see. Other questions? Can Chrome Music Lab be used for pitches as well? Yes, it definitely can. It's a great tool. Okay, I think I got everything. Okay, awesome. Well, come back tomorrow for the choir rehearsal. It'll be great. Even if you run an elementary choir, you can still get some ideas. Thank you all for coming. Thanks for spending some time with me. I love doing this. So please know that you can have a great time teaching virtually. Students can have joyful music experiences. It just takes a little bit of creativity, I promise. All right, thank you all. Have a good evening. Bye.